welcome to Cypress Sports Weekly. I'm Jeff Russell. Here with me, as always, is Mark Slevcove. How we doing, Coach?
Doing great. Ready for the playoffs.
Absolutely. Well, it is that time. Love this time of year. Today we'll chat a little bit with Coach Crooks. We've got a special guest, KTLA's sports reporter Rashaan Haylock's on the show as well. Football coming off a victory against Valencia and an outright league championship. Coach, what's the schedule look like for everybody else this week?
Yeah, water polo snuck into the playoffs as an at-large. They're taking on another district school, Western, on today, Tuesday, 5 o'clock over at Garden Grove High School. Girls tennis finished up their league finals last week, and they're going to be taking on Edison this week in the first round of the playoffs. Girls golf, Catherine Gerbing qualified out of the last week's round out at Western Hills. So she's playing up in Carpinteria this week. And cross country, boys varsity won the league. Justin Singer won the league title individuals at 1544, and the boys team gets their first league title since 2008.
That's so awesome. Yeah, football with the win, 33-6 last week, starting the Division IV playoffs. We got 3 league championships in a row. Coach Crooks here again. Crooks, congrats on the 3 in a row and winning it outright. How's it different, that feeling when you win it outright as opposed to sharing it with somebody?
Well, it's always great to win a league championship, but we don't like sharing it with anyone else. We want it all for ourselves. That's our goals we have going into each season. It's actually kind of special. We're 14-1 in the last 3 years in the Empire League. So we won it outright in 2019. Co-champs last year with Pacifica and Tustin, and then outright this year. We want to make it every year. We want something. We want everybody to have what we have. So to win it outright is a special thing, and just proud of our kids for what they've done this entire season so far.
Yeah, we keep plugging away. Last week against Valencia, defense played well again. Had another big injury with Neil Jansen going down. This week we got Palos Verdes. They're a run team. Ken Knapp, Jason Roa. How are we approaching this game against the Sea Kings?
Well, again, it was tragic for Neil to go down. He's a special player for us. He goes both ways, offense and defense. He's going to be severely missed in every way, from running back to free safety and defense. So, but we have a saying that we have, if you're juiceful, you're useful. If you're juiceless, you're useless. So we've had guys this year with a lot of juice step into the roles and help us out when time needed. So going with Palos Verdes, we're going to approach them as we did versus Valencia and versus Tustin. We got to stop the run. They're physical. Like you said, Ken Knapp and Jason Roa, 2 hard-nosed runners inside the tackles. So it's going to be another challenge for us that we have to face this week, and that we're ready for the challenge.
Nice, Coach. Our offense looked good again last week. We even got a couple field goals from Miles Weber. That was pretty nice to see. What do you look at, or when you look at their defense this week, what can we expect from Palos Verdes?
We're going to they're going to be very similar to us in a way that, they like to bring pressure a lot. They like to fly after the ball, and it's going to keep our offense on their heels to make sure that they're doing the right thing to be successful. Again, having Miles Weber as kicker is also another weapon for us offensively, because defense, we're striving to get turnovers. And we always say each turnover is 4.3 points, average of a field goal or a touchdown. So to have another offensive weapon to put points on the board and extend our lead in the game is huge. So he's a good weapon to have, along with our offense that's been doing a great job piecing it together each week. I mean, they had 300-some yards rushing against Valencia last week. So I feel that they're doing great things on that side of the ball too. And just got to get another challenge this week versus Palos Verdes. Their defense brings it like we do.
Yeah, Coach, you've described Palos Verdes similar to Valencia. Coach Feldman said the same thing to us. What do we expect them to do defensively against us? How's our offense going to respond to them?
Well, I don't want to tell them how to stop our offense, but like I said, they're going to bring as much pressure as they can on Matt to disrupt the pass game and contain him. they're probably going to bracket Trevor receiver wise. So we have to have other guys step up and be able to do those things. So I think Coach Efren Valdez has done a great job with our offensive line, getting them ready each week and improving them each week, and being able to, Coach Feldman says in all offensive meetings and on the field that, offense is won with as far as we go as far as we go with the O-line. If the O-line does their job, then we'll be able to be fine and do everything. So again, Coach Efren's done a good job with the offensive line. They got to be able to pick up the blitz and, extend drives and put points on the board.
Nice. We saw you guys working hard yesterday. We know this is going to be a big challenge, a good division overall. Top little bit, some good teams there in the top parts too. So Crooks, thanks again for being here. I don't want to keep you too long. Let's get after it this week. Let's make a run in CIF and see how deep we can get.
Let's keep it going. Thanks for having me again.
All right, well, with the team in Division 4, we thought we needed an expert today to look over the draw. So we welcome KTLA's sports reporter and former Cypress coach, Rashaan Haylock, to the program. Good to see you, Ray.
Hey, what's up, Coach? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, man, it seems like yesterday you were here at Cypress as a basketball coach, pretty fresh out of college, working really hard. You worked for the Sportsnet USA doing broadcasts, got a chance to do some high school and college pro stuff with Fox Sports. You did KCBS, KCal. You've done a lot already. Now you're covering everything, including the LA Sparks, doing KTLA sports. Is this your dream job, or do you still have more to come?
It's Coach. As you know, you were the guy that gave me my first shot. My first job out of college was right there with you at Cypress. And so, and at that time, remember, I wasn't sure, right? I was like, did I really want to do this coaching thing, or did I want to get into, the broadcast world? I was really torn at the time, and eventually decided to go the broadcast route. But this last year, Coach, in all honesty, has been a dream come true. Being able to pick up work with KTLA, have that happen in the middle of a pandemic, and then the opportunity with the Sparks, to be able to call, pro games. It's been a dream, man. So, obviously, yeah, I'm just living it right now. It's a huge blessing.
It's super cool. And you definitely made the right choice in going the broadcast world.
That's what all coaches say. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, Ray, when you were at Cypress coaching, you were also broadcasting on radio some of our basketball games before going to KCal and doing all the behind-the-scenes stuffs before being in front of the camera. How do those types of jobs help prepare you for someone moving up in this world?
Yeah, there's no one route to take, right? For some people, they never do the behind-the-scenes stuff, and they just go straight, in front of the camera. They may go to a smaller market, work themselves up, this, that, or the other. I think for me, it's helped because it's allowed me to be, a lot more well-rounded. So when things are going on, if mistakes happen or, a wrong graphic goes up or something like that, we're having technical difficulties, then, I understand, right? I get it, right? Because I've been there before. Like, I've been the guy that's put up the wrong graphic or that's made the mistake behind the scenes that, everybody sees, but nobody really knows who does it. So I think it's been great. I'm sure my players at the time enjoyed it because we had to wake them up for 6 a.m. practices sometimes just so I can go to work later that night for, to do some production stuff for Laker games and Dodger games and things of that nature. But I think it was a huge help. I think it was really impactful for me to be able to learn the entire business, right? The whole scope of everything, as opposed to just my job.
Yeah, it's super funny. Technical difficulties happen from what I hear, apparently all the time. So I may have had some here and there today. Well, we're in the playoffs. A lot about our school, about the community here. Have you had a chance to kind of look over our playoff bracket for football? Is there anything that really stands out immediately to you?
Line 6, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Look, I'm pumped. I'm stoked. What a year for Cypress. What a year for the Centennial. I still consider myself a Cypress boy at heart. And so I'm constantly, rooting for the school, football team, basketball team too, especially. But yeah, that bracket, especially the top half, which Cypress is in, is pretty brutal. You got Long Beach Poly up there, you got Upland, you got St. Paul. You're Cypress. with a win, hopefully this week, you take on the winner of Bonita and Rupa Hills. But I mean, you're facing an old foe in Guy Gardner. He's the head coach over at Palos Verdes right now. He was, he was in the Empire League at one point over at Pacifica. And so, he's a guy that's going to be, somewhat familiar with the surroundings and things like that. So that's always something that you have to look out for. But I think the bracket as a whole is a good one, but I think that top half especially is brutal. I mean, you're gonna have to earn it if you get through that top half, and thankfully for you guys, you get a home game in the first round.
Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be lots of close games. The way the brackets are set up this year in the first round. Hopefully we end up with a good draw. We play well, but we're taking on another league champion. What's the most important thing for teams to be successful in the playoffs?
Well, at first, you got to have fun, right? You got to have fun. You got to go out there, especially for the seniors, right? I mean, this may be the last chance, to be able to kind of soak it all in. Some guys will never put those pads on ever again. And so I think the most important thing is to go out there and have fun and to be loose, to be free. But also, I mean, recognize the challenge at hand. Go out there and give it your all. Don't take any plays off. One play at a time, be able to go out there and handle whatever the task is in front of you. But I think most importantly, you just sort of enjoy the moment, right? Because it's special to be a part of the playoffs, right? And it's special to play high school football. I don't care, like in coach you talked about earlier, Coach Russ. I mean, I've had the luxury, the ability, the good fortune, of late to cover, a bunch of, pro sports and things of that nature. But there's nothing like Friday Night Lights, right? And like you can talk to, like I'll talk to some pro guys, like some guys in the Rams now. I covered them, when they were in high school, or guys in the NFL right now. And you bring up high school to them, I mean, their eyes just light up, right? Because it was the last time where it was like pure and they just had fun and they were just with their boys and going out and doing that. So like those memories, those last a lifetime, and those moments you can't get back. So you just try to cherish that as much as possible.
Very cool. Yeah, well, if we get past Palos Verdes, which, like you said, is going to be a tough one. Guy, obviously, like you said, knows a lot about our school, our team, that rivalry when he was there with Pacifica, of course. We could play Bonita. We could play Rupa Hills. Bonita would be a home game. Seems like both of them are pretty solid teams that played good schedules. Do you know anything about those teams in general?
Well, it'd be good to get Bonita at home, that's for sure. I mean, obviously, Europa, that's a trek, right? I mean, you're talking about going all the way out there to Fontana. You're going to have to leave Thursday for that one, for a Friday game. So one thing you know about Bonita, though, I mean, Steve Bogan is their head coach, and he's one of the legends in Southern California high school football in terms of head coach, as far as head coaches go. And they got a good quarterback in Daniel Andrade. He's a gamer, right? And he may not wow you with, the measurables or the throws or things of that nature, but he's just gritty. He's tough. He gets the job done. And so I like Bonita in that first round game against Europa, and, being able to get them at home, I think that will be a bonus for the Centurions as well. So hopefully that plays itself out where you be able to get another home game for round two. But you're going to be going up against a very, very well-coached team in Bonita. You can know that for sure.
All right. Well, you mentioned the top half of the bracket being brutal, a lot of historically good programs there. Is there one surprise team in our bracket?
I think the team to watch out for is Lawndale, right? They've taken a bunch of L's, but their schedule has been brutal. I mean, they play some of the top teams in Southern California. So, they may not have the ranking or the seeding in the playoff bracket that may justify the season that they had, but I mean, they play some of the big dogs. And so I think that's a team to watch out for. Their head coach and Travis Clark is a good one. Funny story about Coach Clark. We actually worked together on the same show at NFL Network. We worked on a show called Game Day Live, where we kind of go through, all the games, in the morning. We show replays, all the highlights, all the scoring plays, whatever. So he's actually a tape operator at NFL Network, while I was there. So we worked together on that show for 2 years, but he's a good guy. They've actually won a state championship under him a couple of years ago. So he knows how to win. He knows how to get it done. So I think that's one team to look out for that can be pretty sneaky, pretty sneaky dangerous.
Yeah, Lawndale plays West Ranch, right? They're typically a pretty good team, pretty good league. So yeah, if they get by that, that will definitely be a team to watch. Ray, hey, when you were here, you were a really, really good coach, and a good administrative wise coach as well, connecting with the kids and running your team. Do you miss coaching? And if so, what do you miss most about it?
Yeah, I was so good, coach. One of my best players is an NFL player right now. So we can go figure, right? Shout out to Jamil. But no, first appreciate you for saying that. I loved it. I loved it. I mean, it was a lot. I mean, you'd have to talk me off the ledge sometimes because I wore those losses really, really hard. I mean, you and I, we kind of cut from the same cloth. We bonded so much, during my time there. And I owe a bunch to you just for, all the things that I've been able to accomplish in my career. But it was fun. It was fun getting to know the young man and helping. I mean, not only basketball, right? But you're teaching life skills. I'm a firm believer that sports is a great teacher of life skills and life lessons. And so it's great to kind of hear stories and see guys go on and have some of their success. Max Razor right now, he's working with the Clippers. You got the Selbies that are doing great things as well. Nick Troutman is just this Iron Man of sorts, running and climbing all over the place. And, we talked about Jamil, obviously, but it was fun. It was a blast. I loved it. I was really torn about, leaving and making that decision. And, for years, like I would have these terrible withdrawals, like the night before practice would have started, because you'd always get us all together, coach, and we go get burritos out there in Los Al, and you'd invite me out there sometimes too, and it was just, I loved being there, but then it was just weird because you guys were all going to practice and I was just going home or going to work later that night. So like for years, like that stuff kind of still was still with me. But I think it's been a big help for me, especially right now, just in my career, where I can see the game a little bit different, right? Sometimes I can see the game through a coach's eyes, or and not only that, just my respect for the coach profession, right? Like, no one knows your team as intimately as you know your team, right? Like we can see a couple minutes of practice here and there, but we don't know everything that goes on. So we don't know why you called that play at that moment or why this happened the way that it did. Nobody really does, except the guys in that locker room and that coaching staff. And so I think it's allowed me to be more understanding from that standpoint. So you're not going to see me, like, you'll never see me go on TV saying like, oh, this guy's got to go, he's terrible, he's all, like, because I just have too much respect for the profession in that way. And so thank you for allowing me to kind of realize that and to have as much fun as we did there. And we won that league championship, and that's still one of my greatest accomplishments, greatest accolades to this day.
Very nice. League championships are always tough to come by and fun when you do it. All right, we got water polo in the playoffs this week, and cross country, and we got a girls golfer, and then our football game this week, all playoffs. What advice you got for our athletes heading to the playoffs?
Go out there and have fun, enjoy it. Just go out there, be free, and let it go. Enjoy this time with your teammates. I think, and just going back to the whole coaching aspect, one of the things that I miss the most, I mean, isn't necessarily the games or the wins or the losses, but it was just that time, in the locker room beforehand, right? The pregame speech. It was, the celebration afterwards, after a big win. Just some of those moments in practice, we were just goofing off with one another. Like those moments you can't get back. Those are so special, so precious, especially when you talk about team sports. As far as the individuals, I mean, you just channel your inner Mamba or whatever it is that you got to do, and you go out there and get it. It's you against the world, and you go out there and get it and get it done. Do as well as you can.
Well, Ray, I know you watched at least one episode that we've done here. So this segment is rapid fire.
Here we go.
Questions, stuff that you don't know what's coming. So don't overthink anything here. Just whatever you see, feel, hear. Let us know. So other than this show, of course, who's your favorite host to work with?
Oh, that's a good one. Favorite host. You're going to get me in trouble, coach. I'll say this. I believe I was still coaching at the time. We did a high school football signing show, And I was just talking about this last week to somebody, actually. We did a high school football signing show at CBS KCAL. We did it on the web. And it was the first time that's ever been done in the history of the station. And our very first show, I co-hosted with Jim Hill. And just growing up in LA and watching him throughout the years, like I remember literally sitting there and then looking over like, that's Jim Hill. Like it tripped me out like all the way out. Like, and I worked with the guy like every day, but like to be able to share that stage with him was awesome. It was like a pinch me moment, real talk.
That's very cool. That's very cool. That's a great answer. Alex Curry would have been another good answer, but we'll leave that one. So first time people meet you, what age do they say you look like most often?
So I have aged. For a long time, it was 16. Now we're getting to be about 20, 21 or so. Someone surprised me recently. They said like 28. And I was like, whoa. Like I almost took offense to that. I was like, hold on. Like what glasses are you wearing? Right.
You'll start getting some gray hairs now that you have your family with some young kids. You'll get some gray hairs now. You'll start looking a little bit older. All right. Well, you can only pick one thing to cover. World Series Game 7, NBA Championship Game 7, or a Super Bowl. You can only do one. What do you got?
I'd say, wow, probably Super Bowl. Probably a Super Bowl. Because I mean, this is the first time I've ever covered, professional football. Like, we didn't have a pro football team here for years. And so I would say a Super Bowl, only because I covered it behind the scenes, Game 7, 2010 NBA Finals, Lakers Celtics. So I've kind of been there in a sense, but never been to a Super Bowl. So I think that would be pretty cool.
All right. Well, you mentioned Jim Hill, so we'll take that one out. Who do you got here? Vin Scully or Chick Hearn?
Chick. That's an easy one. There he is right there, Coach.
I know you love him, and
I know that Chick is, and I love Vin. Like, don't get me wrong, I love it. Like people don't understand what Vin did was so hard, like so hard to be able to do a baseball game solo and to be as fluid and as smooth as he made it seem easy. And it's really not that easy at all. But I grew up a big Chick Hearn guy. Like I was like 3-4 years old. I would just sit in front of the TV and just listen to everything that Chick had to say, just soak it all up. And that's kind of where my love for sports and, me wanting to get into this business, that's where that all started.
Now, if I remember right, too, you worked at In-N-Out, I think. So what's your go-to at In-N-Out? You're going to order. What do you order in In-N-Out?
Go-to at In-N-Out. All right. So here it comes. So people talk about me all the time, right? I worked at In-N-Out all these years, but I don't eat beef or pork. And so people are like, you worked at In-N-Out and you don't even eat the burgers, right? So here's my go-to, Coach. And this is a little inside trader secret information. All right. We go grilled cheese animal style, no pickles. We do the whole grilled onion instead of the chopped grilled. Add ketchup. So you get the spread and the ketchup going. So that's a win. And then you got to go animal fries. And then I'll go chocolate shake.
That is a solid order. That is seriously awesome. Oh, man. Well, hey, Ray, I love you to death, man. I appreciate you being here. I miss seeing you every day. You are doing unbelievably awesome things, and we just loved having you. Thank you for taking time out to do that with us today.
Love you, Coach. Appreciate the time, Slevy. All love, my man. Love all you guys, and I'm still a Cypress boy at heart. Anytime, man. Just hit me up. I'd love to come on here and talk with you guys.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks to Coach Crooks, Rahshaun Haylock again for being here today. Appreciate you all watching. We're going to see you next week, hopefully in round 2 of the playoffs. Thanks, everybody.